Black women have played a crucial role in many presidential elections, and this one is certainly no different. According to a CBS News poll, more than 9 in 10 black women described as likely voters are expected to support Vice President Kamala Harris, and this could make a big difference in some states. For example, back in 2020, our exit poll for one battleground state, that would be Georgia, showed that of the 17% of voters who were black women, 92% backed President Biden, helping him score an historic victory there. Jotaka Duncan spoke with the woman behind the viral Win with Black Women live stream. It has had 90,000 participants nationwide. And Jotaka is here at the table to give the details. Good morning to you.
Good morning to all of you. Good morning at home. 45-year-old Jotaka Eaddy is no stranger to networking. She's held leadership roles at the NAACP and in Silicon Valley. She says her desire to help others began at a very early age.
I think when I was in kindergarten, my mom said I used to say I want to be a lawyer. I couldn't say lawyer. I said I wanted to be a lawyer. And I always was that kid that just wanted to fight for anybody who I felt was being mistreated.
Jotaka Eaddy says she felt that way back in 2020 after hearing some of the negative comments about black women named as possible vice presidential candidates.
Every last one of those women were receiving racist, sexist attacks. No one was challenging their policies, their agendas. She was too ambitious.
Her mentor, former White House political director Minyon Moore, encouraged Jotaka to do something. So she did. In 2020, she created Win with Black Women, a virtual network that started meeting every Sunday during the pandemic via Zoom. The goal? Support and advance the policy agenda of black women. So when this news broke,
President Joe Biden has decided to drop out of the 2024 race.
Their routine call went viral.
We will do all the work that we know that we must do as black women, as we have always done.
Around 90,000 black women and their allies came together, not only to strategize, but to embrace the history that could be made.
Remember this moment. Remember where you were. Remember how you felt.
When we hung up at 1 a.m., it was still 20,000 women. And it felt like a hug that you just did not want to let go.
Their actions inspired other groups to form virtually and raise millions more. It also led to this Unite for America live stream in September with Oprah Winfrey.
Please welcome Kamala Harris.
And the vice president thanking Jotaka.
She started it. Jotaka started it.
Historian and professor Martha S. Jones says black women organizing is nothing new.
When we look back across not just decades, but more than a century, what we recognize is that black women have always been knocking on the door, rattling the gates, insisting on a place at the table in American politics.
Jones, who was on that historic July Zoom call, is the author of Vanguard, How Black Women Broke Barriers, Won the Vote, and Insisted on Equality for All.
Are black Republican women organizing in the same way? And is there room for their voice when we talk about galvanizing black women and getting out the vote?
Getting out the vote, in my view, is not a partisan matter. Getting out the vote is the heart of democracy.
Jotaka recognizes that Win with Black Women set a new standard for voter outreach, one she says she hopes will have impact for decades to come.
What we are seeing is a level of energy united around our collective absolute need to ensure that this country is a place where we can all thrive and live and be free.
Win with Black Women has raised $2.6 million for the Harris campaign since July. It has resources on its website to help people with voter engagement from both a partisan and nonpartisan perspective. But to think about the history, guys, this goes back to the church in that book, Vanguard. Martha S. Jones really lays out the fact that Black women historically have always been engaged, have always been active. And what we saw in July was just a manifestation of a lot of work many people before them have been doing.
Yeah, kudos to Jotaka Eaddy. I've seen her in action, and she is no joke. And I think for many people, they hadn't heard about it until that July phone call.
Yeah.
You start thinking, who are these people? Where are they coming from? Because the numbers that they raised in that short amount of time was jaw-dropping.
But to hear the organization
On how it
took
started.
4 years ago is when all of this started. So
Went from boots on the ground to digital footprints.
and that's where we are.
They could be the difference maker.